That was like a follow-up to what I was just saying. I didn't know that. I come in and listen to the songs before service, but I missed that rehearsal. I didn't hear that one. Yes, I am. Whew. Regular or premium? Somebody already came up to me going, that talk title, I had no idea where you were going with that. There's a reason for that. I come up with a talk title, and then I think, well, if my thoughts don't work, that's okay. The title doesn't matter. It can be whatever I want to talk about. But this one actually does relate to it. And I struggled a little bit with the title. I thought about, check your windows for you, check your fluids, under the hood. What? Right, that's exactly it. What used to be. Somebody got it, the full service gas station. Remember that? You'd pull in, ding, ding, and a guy would jump up and he'd come out to your car and pump your gas. There are some states where they actually still have full service. Oregon, it's the law. You cannot pump your gas in Oregon. It's the law. Yeah, that could be a problem. For Californians, they're like, "What? Get off my car! What are you doing?" Because we love our cars. Don't be messing with our car, dude. Don't touch that. That's mine. Yeah. But what I'm talking about a little bit here is this idea of service and showing up in the world in our premium form, showing up full, not just being regular, kind of average self-service. Let's jump it up. Let's step it up a little bit is what I'm getting into, and the kind of service where they would. When I was a kid in Cincinnati, my cousin, his best friend Ronnie, were picked because that was like a plum job. If you could be a gas station attendant when you were in high school, it was good money and a decent job, right? That could lead to a career, perhaps, if you wanted to. You'd own a station or something. That was a thing to aspire to at a time. And they worked at Tennessee and Paddock at the Shell station. And I was trying to remember what's that cross street this morning, So I went to my good friend Google and I clicked in Google Maps, and the Shell station is still a Shell station, and it's still on the corner, and it looks exactly like it did, except it now has self-service pumps. Of course, with Google Map, you can actually see the whole building. And it was kind of a moment of reminiscing. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Back in the day, full service. Fill her up, please. And it's interesting how that has gone away, and how that self-service thing has sort of become kind of a metaphor, a model for how much else is happening. Johanna kind of tickles with me whenever I go to the grocery store because I do not like those automated checker things. I am like anti-auto checker. I will not go. I just don't want to take somebody's job, right? And I like the interchange with the checking person. I'm never one of those who's going to be on the phone when it goes by. I know the checkers' names. They know me. I've been going to the same routes for 20 years. So, it's my thing. And so much so, it was interesting, like a couple weeks ago, it was all crowded, and the guy who operates, because there's always a guy that operates the self-checker station, he came over and he knows my story. So he came over and says, I'll check your stuff at the self-checker line if you want. So he took me to the self-checker and he checked it for me through the line. It was like full service, right? I was totally down with that. But there are some places where you don't get the full service. I was checking, Nordstrom's. Love Nordstrom's. Buy a pair of shoes, wear them, decide I don't like them, take them back, no problem. Buy a dress. Well, I don't buy dresses anymore. Not since the therapy sessions. Take them back, no problem. It's great. That's a good one. But that store, Forever 21, it's in the name. If you go to something and buy something Forever 21, ladies or gentlemen, if you're buying a gift for somebody, it's going to be yours forever. They have like a zero take back policy. It's crazy. They're the worst ones. They have the worst rating for self-service, for customer service. The top, of course, is Nordstrom, followed by, anybody got a guess? Costco's number 3. Oh, Trader Joe's. I don't think that was on the list. Do they take stuff back? Are they good? Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond. They were on the list. And my favorite came in at number 4, REI. I love camping. It's neat. It's REI. Anyway, trivia for the day. But thinking about stores, though, made me laugh because when I go to stores, particularly at Home Depot, I should probably get a job at Home Depot. When I'm at Home Depot, people come up and ask me where stuff is. Like, I don't have that shirt on. What's up with that? But that happens a lot. And I don't know if it happens for some of you, that you just kind of carry that service energy about you, that people come up and ask you directions, or they want to know how to get something or how to do things. People ask me how to do stuff that I have no idea. This morning I came in and the camera was falling all over and everything, and they looked over at me like, Steve, help us. I'm like, I don't know, but okay. And next thing you know, the camera's back up. But that kind of stuff, it's kind of interesting to have that kind of an energy. And if you have that kind of energy, there's something within you that's dying to come forth. You are a leader waiting to be developed. If you're not already in leadership, but people are asking you to do things that are leadership positions, you might want to think about how that works for you and jump into that a little bit, because you may be one of those high octane people. You know, we talk about high octane, we talk about octane levels in your gas, getting your premium gas and all that kind of stuff, but octane has also become sort of a phrase for us. If you hear that, when you hear high octane, you automatically know it's powerful, it's dynamic, it has a lot of strength, probably some truth behind it. You can trust stuff that carries high octane energy, and I believe that each and every one of us contains high octane energy. The deal is to tap into it so that we can run our lives more efficiently, so we can run with less carbon deposits, so we can be better sources of life, so that we can totally show up. We want to show up for success, for the successes that we are. Woody Allen says 80% of success is just showing up. So if you could just show up, you know? And Dr. Holmes is very strong on the idea of service. He says service, and he doesn't do this very often, capitalized in the book. Service is the keynote to success and implies constructive work, also loyalty to your work and to all concerned in it. That's what we're called to be. We're called to be successful in our work, and our work is about life. That's our work. It's about living life to its fullest, right? And do we want to be successful in that? Yes, because what we do in our lives has an effect on everyone else. So everyone is concerned in the work that we do in our lives. So my call today is to talk about stepping it up. The whole CSL movement is doing service this month. Next Saturday, I think it's next Saturday, is an International World Service Day for our centers. They'll be doing service all around. We're going to do ours on Sunday, not on Saturday, at the park. You'll find out more about that when you come to the park and play. But beginning the idea of stepping up more into yourself, stepping up more into your services is I'm thinking that it's meditation. It starts with listening. That's why the gap is so important. It starts with listening. Kevin Griffith, in his book, One Step at a Time, One Breath at a Time, says that meditation, check this out, is showing up for this moment. Meditation is showing up for this moment. Bringing our awareness into the present. And as we show up for this moment and stop in that and begin to ask the questions of ourselves of what is mine to do? How am I not showing up in the world? And it begins with those great 2 commandments that Jesus helped to clarify. Yeah, we're going to get a little Bible today. Stand by. All you guys got that Bible verse stuff, forget it today. Remember, it's just a manual for living. Don't get all twisted. And you got to read between the lines, because if you read just the lines, it'll totally freak you out. They kill people in that thing and hurt people. It's a rough book unless you read between the lines so you can get the depths of the story. But when Jesus clarifies those 2 commandments, he starts with love God. Love God with your heart, your soul, and your mind. Love God with your heart. Give it all your compassion, right? And since we're talking about in Science of Mind, we know that God is everything and everyone. So we're not talking about some guy on in the cloud thing. We're talking about every person that you see, every element of life that you live in, even down to the car for us in California who love our cars. Love God with all your heart and with your soul, with that part of you that is, you see, the soul part of you is the unchanging, non-judgmental, witnessing aspect of your life. When you're having a feeling and you ask yourself, who just had that feeling? You have stepped into your soul space. It's the space that doesn't judge, that doesn't concern itself with the vagaries of the world. It's just all about witnessing what is actually going on. So you want to love God with that part of yourself that does not judge, with all the compassion that you can, and with your mind, with your ability to think, to cognate, to come up with ideas, to use your imagination, to thoughts, to create things, to be that action in your life. When I first moved to Austin, Texas, I'm 17 years old. I went to college a little bit early, and you can imagine what a 17-year-old's hormones are like. So when my friend told me we're going to go to the beach, and I didn't have my swimsuit, and we went down to the Lake Travis, and we get out of the car, he says, don't worry about it, and we walk out through these woods and these scrub oaks and everything to these rocks where everybody on the rocks was laying out butt naked. I thought, I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. Until I saw this old wrinkled Jewish couple walking along. And I was like, whoa. And they were picking up trash. And that summer, I went to the Hippie Hollow with my friend Rozan and his friends. We went almost every weekend. We'd go out to Hippie Hollow and hang on the rocks and swim. It was really great. It's a lovely place to be, a wonderful, wonderful way to grow up. And so every week we'd go out there, and that same Jewish couple would be there picking up trash. And I know they're Jewish because one day I walked up to them and I asked them, why do you pick up trash every week? And the gentleman did like this, and he had a tattoo. He said, I told myself, if I could survive this, I would serve the world in any way I can for the rest of my life. And this is part of how I serve. This is a place that gives me love, that makes me feel rejuvenated and refreshed. So I pick up a bag of trash every time I come out. That's how he served the world. He loved God with his heart, with his soul, and with his mind, and with a sense of forgiveness and thanksgiving for being alive. The other part of that commandment is love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not judge. Just share that love. And I was looking through some paperwork. I love doing the talks. I really love the exploration that takes place. And throughout the week, I'm always farming, actually all month, all the time I'm farming and I'm looking and stuff. And this one actually is about a farmer, a guy that was dressed in farmer duds. And he's looking for a place to hang out in a hotel. And he goes into this hotel and the desk clerk says, I'm sorry, we don't have a room. And he made a judgment. He thought, this guy looked too dirty, too common to be in this high swanky hotel. I'm not going to give him a room. So the guy leaves and he goes down to another hotel, and later the hotel manager finds out that the guy that he chased away from the hotel, no, not Howard Hughes, Thomas Jefferson. Oh, wow. It was Thomas Jefferson, vice president at the time. And so he sent a message down to the hotel where Thomas Jefferson was staying and said, hey, I'm sorry, we got a room if you want to stay. He says, hey, look, if you don't have room for a common farmer, you don't have space for the vice president of America, so I'm not coming. He was not loving his neighbor as himself. He was working from that judgment place. And we all have it. We all have those judgment places. But this is a call to try to move beyond those. And notice I say try. Because and I know, don't quote me to Yoda. I know there is no try, do. And I respect you, Yoda. You got cute ears. You're a nice guy. But sometimes we do have to accept that there is a process of unfoldment that's taking place. And so this is a call to remind you that in those moments where you fail, you get the lovely opportunity to try again until you no longer fail. That's called grace, and we need to give ourselves that. Because you see, there is this opportunity, there is this universal urge always asking you to do more. And I call urge your ultimate, resplendent good emerging. There is an ultimate goodness within each and every one of us. It's resplendent, it's just fantastic, and it's always trying to seek itself into the world. It's trying to express itself into the world. This ultimate urge never loses sight of its cosmic purpose. Its cosmic purpose. And Dr. Holmes says this. He says, the ultimate urge never loses sight of its own cosmic purpose. We must therefore ask ourselves whether only selfish ends will be attained by the fulfillment of our desires, or will it benefit all, or at least hurt no one. Very simple thing. It's not all that hard to do. What you're wanting to do, if you're in touch with that ultimate urge, if you're in touch with that cosmic urge, if you're in touch with that part of the universe that's trying to unfold through you, it's not going to do anything to anybody else but good. It's going to benefit all. And that's your checkpoint. And we have the ability to do that. Is this going to make somebody else upset? Or is this going to make the world a better place? That's our opportunity to serve. That's the place that we're stepping into this week, this month, for the rest of our lives, perhaps. It's an easy thing to do. And, a lot of times when this call comes out to serve, there can be this also urge like, oh, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. Well, there's power in one. Who, me? I don't know. No. There really is power in one. Remember I talked about Rosa Parks, right? One person launched the whole thing that changed the face of our nation. There was a little boy you've heard this story about the little boy who's walking along the beach and he's throwing starfish back into the ocean, and he's just one after another. He's just picking them, throwing them in the ocean. And this old guy walks up to him and says, "What are you doing, son?" He says, "I'm saving starfish." He says, "There's thousands of starfish on this beach. I don't know if you're going to be able to save them all." "Yep, but I can save this one." And he tosses it into the ocean. You can save one. Everybody can do just one. And you never know what will happen as a result of the one thing that you do. When I was at Founders for many years as a congregant and then as a student, a practitioner student, and then I got called out and they said, "Hey, would you like to be on the board?" And I said, "Sure, I'll be on the board." Then I got called to be the president of the board, and we made all kinds of changes while I was on the board. And one of them was to have an energy audit. And the energy audit suggested that we change the light bulbs to compact fluorescents in this one social hall to save energy. And that was great, so we said, okay, let's do that, and we bought all these compact fluorescent bulbs, and then my term ended, and I noticed one day when I was in the social hall that the bulbs hadn't been changed. And I'm not on the board anymore, I'm just hanging out. I ain't got nothing else to do. I was unemployed at the time. And did I say I was unemployed at the time? 'Cause I was unemployed at the time. I was bored. And so I'm just kind of hanging down there, and I look, and I said, well, I'll just change these bulbs. So I start changing the bulbs. Then I noticed that we were going to clean the chandelier that used to hang in the home office, and now it hangs in the lobby at Founders, and it's full of dust. And I thought they were going to clean that chandelier. So I get on a ladder, I'm up, and I'm cleaning the chandelier, which is really lovely work when you think about it. It's kind of a Zen thing, just cleaning it. It's getting all shiny and bright. And Dr. Arthur walks by, and he says, we haven't had an administrator around here for quite some time. How would you like to be the administrator? I've never done that, but I said, hey, okay. Yes is my favorite answer. Yes, I'll do it. Turn into a job. And as a result of that job, I was there every day. Now, I had something to do. I was no longer bored. And I'm sitting in the sanctuary one day, and I'm meditating. And I had this moment of clarity that said, you can do this. Do what? You can stand in a place like this and preach. Really? Yeah. Wow. I swallowed it. And then people started telling me the cosmic universal urge. They started coming to me going, you should be a minister. You're going to be a great minister. And I was like, nah, never, not me. No, never, not me. No way. Well, the story ends, right? I mean, here I am. And for thanks. And for months after I graduated and I would be walking down the halls of Founders, people would just walk past me and go, never, huh? It was quite a journey, quite a story for me. But we can do these little things and we don't know the power of one and what it can be for us. Robert Master says, nothing may be so clearly revealing of where we stand than how we use our power. How do you use your power? And it reveals so much about who you are. How do you use your power of the one to choose to do a little something different? Just enough. Patrick just decided to put this tent in his backyard and throw some rocks in there, and now he has regular sweat lodges. And people come from all over the country to go sit in the sweat lodge with this guy. One guy, little idea. Now he travels all over the country doing his talks just because one guy wrote a book. What's the name of that book?
Magic of the Soul.
Yeah. We have to allow the illusions that we've allowed to come into our life to let go. We need to break our grip of the illusions that tell us that we're not enough, that we can't do what we think we can do, that it maybe takes, I need to have the right education or this or that or the other. No, I for years I was running around not feeling all that worthy when I was in the TV business because I never finished college. And I didn't think I could ever finish college because I didn't think I was a good student, And then something came along called Antioch University where they give you credit for life. And suddenly I got all these course credits for just being alive, just like going to work every day. And then they get some classes with all this support. And next thing you know, I'm like, I am a good student. And then I got a bachelor's and a master's. And it just happens, But you have to take the first step. You have to break the illusion that says, I can't. When something comes up for you and you hear those words come out of your mouth, I can't, that's a moment of witnessing. That's a moment to go inside and do a little meditative experience as to why did that I can't show up. Now, sometimes it might be a true I can't. I'm not saying that everything you should do, but sometimes that I can't is just an opportunity, a trigger to look a little bit deeper, to see what is my power and where can I stand in that power and how can I use that power? What illusion do I have to let go of? What edge am I being called to? And can I jump off that edge and know that I don't need the wings, I will grow them on the way down. And you will when you're taking the right leap. And you'll know you're taking the right leap because you've done your inner work, because you've listened and you've dedicated to the work. I know that because you're coming here. Back to the Bible for a minute. Matthew 25:40. Assuredly I say to you, insomuch as you have done it to one of the least of my brethren, you have done it to me. When you take your power and you use it for anybody, you have used it for spirit. You have done it for the entire world. It only takes one. You don't have to touch a lot of people to change the world. So it doesn't, you don't have to be Mother Teresa, bless her, I'm sorry, Saint Teresa. Saint Teresa of Calcutta got her sainthood today. Talking about being of service. And the thing about wondering whether it's a big thing or a little thing, there is no big or small in the mind that knoweth all. Emerson, right? And so it's just about giving. It's just about showing up. Talking about showing up, I was reading a book, that Kevin Griffith book I was talking about. It's about the Buddhist path to the 12-step process. And in that, he talks about Buddhists singing Christmas carols at a senior center. Now, what's that all about? But that's what they did. That's how they showed up. That's how they decided to be of service. This group of meditators from a Buddhist Sangha decided to go to this senior center and sing Christmas carols. And they were so happy doing this. And one of the little old ladies there said, you guys know the secret, don't you? And one guy says, what do you mean we know the secret? You know the secret to happiness and success. It's give, give, give. And most people think it's take, take, take. It is. The secret is give, give, give. What are we giving? What are you willing to give, you see? Like I say, world peace, great. Not that great a basketball player, but a great idea. And the idea, thank you, those of you who caught that. But the idea that we can do something bigger in our lives by just doing that one thing that works for us. And that one thing may be the thing that puts you closer to the divine. And in those moments where you're closer to spirit, you're more able to express the depth of who you truly are. For me, it's ironing. In my house, I'm the ironer, as you guys know. And I was thinking about this week as I was doing some ironing, what a spiritual experience this is. It has all the elements of nature involved in it. It's got water, air, fire, and earth involved in it, right? Water, the steam, all right? Earth, the clothes, right? Right? Okay. Air is the heat that's coming, and the fire, it's the iron itself. And so when I'm out there ironing, I'm like doing the whole universal thing, and it's and it's crisp. I mean, look at that line, right? It's crisp. It's like I know this is really anal to iron jeans, but I do. And it just fills me with this sense of joy and pleasure. When Johanna walks by and goes, "Could you iron this for me, honey?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure," He says, "Could you clean a kitty litter box?" Okay. "But can you iron this?" "Sure, no problem," And that's that, whatever it is, you'll find yours. You'll find that space. And this goes back to the meditative experience. Sometimes meditation is not about sitting there going, "Oh." Sometimes meditation might just be sitting with the iron or washing the dishes or playing with putting your cat's video on Facebook. I don't know. But you'll find it. But those moments, I'm encouraging those moments of just introspection and contemplation and asking, what is mine to do? Piero Fiorucci says, we transmit what we are, and we are what we have worked to become. What are you working to become? Who are you in the world, and how are people seeing you? It's showing up by what you see. It's right there. It's right there. We transmit what we are. We can't help it. When you walk into a room, people feel it. When Joy walks into a room, people smile because they know they're going to hear some great music. There's something coming out of her that's just so wonderful, you know. Linda walked in in this office the other day, and I saw her walking up, and I knew that I was going to start laughing. Because she makes me smile. It's just the way she rolls. That's what she does. She's a joy bringer, you know? And we just, all these little things. The Jewish couple that's picking up the trash, or the starfish boy saving starfish one at a time. That universal urge is showing up in each and every one of us. And so often we just shut it down with the who, me, I don't have the power. You do have the power. The power that is greater than you are is within you. And Dr. Holmes says, you can use it. Well, I got to ask you, is it true that it can use it or you can use it? It's using you. It's using you. It's desiring to use you. It's the only way it can work, you know? It's all about making life better for people. And there's so many opportunities to do that. I mean, tell a good joke, you know, that can make life better for people. Opening doors for folks, as long as you're not that guy with the video thing with the door, or he opens the door and the people are too far away and they kind of run to get to the door because they feel guilty that he's holding the door for them. Check it out. It's like really crazy videos. Even something like, you know, I was eating some gummy bears, which I shouldn't do, and out popped the filling. Now, fortunately, the filling was an inlay and it was lodged in the gummy bear, so I was able to capture it. And since it was a gold inlay, thank you, right? Took it back to the dentist, and just like that, he's like, no problem. Cleans it, popped it back in with a little glue gun thing, and I'm back on the road. You know, that's a service. That's a service. Kate, can I tell your story about going to the doctor? You were going to so she's like a little edgy about going to the doctor for some surgery, and I said, that's great. She looks at me like, that's great. I said, yeah, think about all those doctors and nurses and anestheticians and all these different people that anestheticians. The anesthesia guy, anesthesiologist. But all those people that desire to be of service in that way, you're giving them something to do. And she was like, wow, cool. I'm going to have surgery. It was like all this whole lit up thing happened, you know. This is our job, is to be of service, and being of service sometimes is being the one that gets the service. Being the one that gets the service, you know, being that shoulder to cry on if somebody needs that. Or that's why I think practitioners just love what they get to do, because as practitioners, we get to be there and be present for people, be present for their lives. And one of the great things that I get is books. I mean, I love authors. I love the fact that they write and that they're of service to us, and they give us such insights and ability to see more of life through their work. And of course, Tuesday morning poetries, you know, the poetry with Johanna, that is just mind-blowing to dive into those words and to see how that opens us up. And music. Every time I listen to music, I find myself soaring off into a new place and picking up new revelations. Musicians are of service to us, and I like to get served by it, and that's a valuable experience around being of service. See, our service opportunities are abundant. They're plentiful. They exist everywhere. You don't have to look hard to find your opportunity for service. And when you answer that opportunity, by accepting that opportunity, a number of things get ready to happen for you. I mean, first off, there's a sense of accomplishment and well-being that comes from being of service. That's really neat. But then there's this unrecognized potential. See, we don't actually know where that piece of service is going to lead. And that's really neat. To be a part of life's lottery, in a way. I mean, our service can be the winning lottery ticket for somebody's life. Now, maybe they don't win $250 million, but they find their mission or their purpose because of some little thing that we did that we think was insignificant, unexpected, unrealized potential becoming realized through us. So the rewards can possibly be external, possibly, but I guarantee you, I feel pretty strong in guaranteeing this one, that the rewards internal are a definite deal. The internal reward for being of service is a definite deal. You see, service is not what you do. Service is who you are. It's who you are and who you get to be. Dr. Holmes talks about this. Let's go to him. Oh, I'm sorry, it's back to Piero Ferrucci. It is easy to think of service as sacrifice, but it takes time because it takes time and energy. But often, it's just the opposite. Service is advantageous to those who do it, not only those who receive it. It's advantageous to each and every one of us to step it up and to bring premium, high-octane service into the world. Toss some starfish into the ocean, pick up some trash, answer some people's questions even if you don't work at the Home Depot. You probably know where the stuff is anyway. The masking tape, it's over next to the paint on aisle 3. These are your opportunities to be out there in the world in a lovely and wonderful way. Be a premium service person, my friends. Thank you. So now let's go back to that affirmation and really affirm it after we get a little bit of understanding behind it. Here we go. Here's some high-octane truth. I have divine gifts, which I easily and joyously share with the world. And it's now time for our prayers. Thank you, Johanna. And who will be in the prayer room? John will be in the prayer room today. All right.
It's good.
I welcome. Let go. It's good. I won't do that to you. Here, accept it. Accept it. Move through it.
Yeah,
You're good? I would love to have this opportunity to pray for you and to know the truth. And what I'd like for each and every one of you to do is to step into your own practitioner status, because we are each practitioners of the science of mind. You don't need a license to do what we do. All you need to do is have a mind. So guess what? You're all practitioners. Then use that mind constructively for a directed purpose. So if there's someone in your life, or maybe it's your own life, where something seems like it's hit a snag, where the good flowing has been disrupted by a limited thought or a concept that is not flowing fully for someone's highest good. Think of that idea right now. If it's fear, know that there is courage. If there's doubt, know that there's faith. If there's disharmony, know that there is love. See, take the condition, see the condition, and flip the switch and find the spiritual principle and hold that in your mind right now as we go into prayer. So recognizing the one Spirit that is present in each and every one of us, that is God, that is living and breathing and having its life by means of each and every one. We are each an opportunity, an outpost of the divine, allowing more God to be more fully expressed in the world. And in this moment, we collectively energize the presence of the divine in this space as we recognize divine perfect truths for those in our hearts, that those that we're holding in our minds, be it ourselves or another. It's all one. It's all one, expressing, individualized through the mind and life that is God. So we bring about perfect and right outcome, divine guidance, harmony, peace, love, and joy. The end of destruction, the end of sadness, the end of pain and suffering, and we turn that into joyous celebration of life itself. It is through this moment that we allow the divine laws of the universe to work in conjunction with whatever entity is expressing right now in our hearts, in our thoughts, in our mind. And when this energy and this idea meets this divine law filled with the substance of God, miraculous things take place. No, it's not miraculous. It's normal things taking place in a way that feels miraculous because we haven't given this much energy to it in one concentrated moment. But in this moment we have, we do, we are. And so are you accepting that with me? We stand here in gratitude for the ability to know this truth. Gratitude for the ability to shape our thoughts in a directed moment for a specific purpose, knowing that the outcome is assured as we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you very much.